Okay, so I wanted to tell you guys about a couple of different incidents. So while I was in the courtroom of, I believe it was myredbook.com Republican co-conspirator Los Gatos Mary Arand, who doesn't know what a 170.6 is and who couldn't figure out what a 170.6 was after being in the chambers for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. First of all, she doesn't let people cross-examine the other parties when they have a legal right to do that. And then, in addition to that, myredbook.com Republican felon, rapist, stalker, solicitor of stalking, perjurer, suborner of perjury, solicitor of perjury, murderer, slanderer, solicitor of slander, solicitor of libel writing, libel writer, pimp, all that. Mike Hess, Maxim Integrated Products, Mike Hess, and Saratoga and Los Gatos, Mike Hess, with the attorney brother, myredbook.com Republican attorney brother, John Richard Hess or Richard John Hess or whatever, and the UC Davis sister, Nancy Hess Dodge or Nancy Dodge Hess. He admitted under oath in court to using methamphetamine. And myredbook.com Republican pretending to be a Democrat, Mary Arand, that can't figure out what a 170.6 is to save her life, just let it go and look the other way. She didn't care. Moreover, there was a night that I was at the apartment in Burlingame on Clarendon of myredbook.com Republican pretending to be a Democrat at times. Jeff Feinberg, corrupt attorney Jeff Feinberg, or at Reddit Head on Twitter. And he had gotten some pot from his friend who lived in the foothills of Belmont, who was, another bartender, just like myredbook.com Republican Alexandra Dragonetti, supposedly at Chili's, and just like myredbook.republican suborner of perjury, perjurer, solicitor of perjury, ex-mafia member, Glenn Chappell, stalker, solicitor of stalking, solicitor of murder, attempted murder, all that. But anyway, so I was over at the apartment of Jeff Feinberg, and he had gotten some pot from his friend in the foothills of Belmont, and both of us had fallen asleep. I don't know, probably around 3 a.m. or so. We both wake up. Well, I woke up because Jeff was screaming bloody murder. He was just screaming in agony, and I had no idea what was going on, and was just like, what the heck, right? So, like, I think I heard him scream something like, my shoulder came out of the socket or something like that. I don't remember his exact screaming words, but I just immediately ran to the kitchen where the phone was, picked up the phone, and called 911. And before any other words came out of the mouth of the dispatcher asked me, "Did you do it?" Excuse her? Yeah. Those were the exact first words of the dispatcher. So obviously, law enforcement around the Bay Area and throughout California and the United States, by way of text message, by way of phone call, by way of disappearing text messages, by way of disappearing email and stuff, have been slandering me behind my back and, doing other things, talking about me, behind my back and stuff. And drawing conclusions that are unfounded and absolutely awful and just criminal on their part. Anyway, so long story short, you know, the paramedics came out. I didn't expect the police to come with the paramedics. I just thought it would be the paramedics, like the night that my femur was criminally broken on March 24th, 2017. But the police came with the paramedics that night. And, you know, they saw the BONGS on the table and stuff and took those. And, you know, Jeff took responsibility for that, thank God. But, like, so all that got wrapped up, and they cart Jeff out to the ambulance on the gurney. And, you know, I'll admit, I smoked pot with him that night, and we both thought that it was laced with PCP or something when we went to bed. Like, Jeff turned to me and was like, you know, do you think there's something in this pot? Because I feel really weird. And I said, yeah, I think there was something in it. You know, I'm feeling the same way. And we talked about it, and we came to the same conclusion. But then we both fell asleep. And anyway, so Jeff gets out on the gurney to the ambulance. They put him in the ambulance, and I turn to the cops and stuff, and I'm like, what should I do? And they're like, you know, you should get in your car, his car, and follow behind the ambulance to the hospital. Fully knowing that I wasn't in my right mind. I mean, when they first arrived, like, I remember them trying to ask me questions, and I was so just blitzed out of my mind that I couldn't answer the questions. And they all looked at one another and were like, she's so just gone, you know, high or whatever, like, that she's just blitzed out of her mind, can't answer our questions, like, we should just move on because we're not going to get anything out of her. And they tell me to get in his car or my car and follow the ambulance to the hospital. Give me a break. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know, I could have hurt somebody else. I could have hurt myself. You know, and that after the dispatcher immediately jumped to wrongful conclusions based on, you know, the past and the myredbook.com felonious Los Altos town crier, some of them child molesters, some of them rapists, definite stalkers, definite libel writers, definite solicitors of libel writing, definite perjurers, etc. after that whole incident. You know, and that was because of the myredbook.com Republican felonious mob Herbert family. So they tell me to get in the car in the condition that I was in and follow the ambulance. What a great idea. Not.